Bilotta is one of the established kitchen bath showrooms in New York. They have locations also in Westchester. This is the A&D location. And they carry different lines from the US and Canada. Very nice looking showroom. So let's see what they have to offer here. Beautiful kitchens. This is typical New England style inset doors, painted wood finish, walnut. Some of the little details we're not really in love with, like the screws and the screw holes. But on the outside, it's a beautiful looking kitchen, especially for someone who wants traditional. This style specifically is an inset door style. You see, what that means is that the frame is in the same depth line as the door. It's very tough to do in terms of craftsmanship because what happens is everything expands and contracts with the changes in humidity, especially the wood doors. So you have this very little tolerance. It's really top level craftsmanship to do an inset door, which is great, it's fine. But sometimes you have these beautiful looking kitchens, but they lack the technology and the hardware. I don't know if this is the case here. It looks like it actually has nice drawers, but if we compare it to the advanced European hardware, obviously, you're not going to be able to carry 150 pounds of weight, and there are no accessories in these drawers. I did see, I assume it's the same manufacturer. So this, for instance, is made for trash bins, but the trash bins are not there. The drawers, I guess it's a case where you can just add accessories, but it's nice to have them all come ready to go with the kitchen. So actually, here's some accessories. So this would be like knife holders. The drawer and the drawer mechanism are a huge thing because that's the thing that needs to hold up and needs to function well. So that's what I always look for, just to get a feel of it. This actually feels like it's quite good quality. But you see this one, it's kind of rubbing a little bit. And then if we get more into the details, a lot of it you can see, and this is just typical of American cabinets, the lighting with Europeans are built in. They come from the factory. Here you see you would have to retrofit. So you see all these holes and you see underneath how this has to be screwed in. This is not even for under cabinet lights. They made this so they can light the inside. So ideally this would come already from the factory, but here it had to be retrofitted on site. So that's why this is actually hiding the wiring. But if you look down, you see all these little imperfections. So these are the kind of things that we look for. So those kind of details. But yes, you're right. On the outside, beautiful looking kitchen. This is an example. Maybe it's just not working, but in a way, it's very tough to use because you can only use one arm, right? You have to hold it up. Ideally, this would hold and you can access it. The other thing is, it's nice because I guess you can treat it like a little appliance garage or whatever you need, but in a way it's also not too useful because it's not that accessible. Specifically with the inset doors, this is always the risk, is what would happen if they expand a little bit, they move. So usually if there's such a small tolerance, there's a chance that they would start to rub up against each other. Yeah, so really beautiful kitchen, and this style is very popular still today in the US, kind of a New England style. But in terms of actual hardware, technology, accessories, it's basically just cabinetry with doors and drawers. It doesn't have that much innovation here. Here we're seeing obviously a more modern style kitchen. I believe this would have to be a Canadian line. So this is nice. It looks like it's HPL or ceramics that were laminated to the front. So this is very nice European imitation. It's got to be American or Canadian, but you see this drawer, for instance. The slow shutting mechanism, if it was there, it's already gone. Maybe there is no slow shutting in this one. It's one of those cases where you have a nice modern kitchen, but again, the technology is probably not comparable to the Europeans. This might be a fixed panel, not sure. Or maybe it's lighter. Yeah, this is nice. This is a great way to make a useful backsplash.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
And it's protected, so you're not going to get grease all over it when you're cooking.
It is. This maybe not ideal.
Falls right down.
Yeah. But the actual idea of making this backsplash so practical is very nice. Kind of with the lighting and everything, the accessories inside, very cool. You have an outlet there. It's just that this is not staying up. It's a nice imitation of like the Valcucine backsplash. See, what happens is you can actually get the hardware. So this is the Bloom hardware. It might actually be electric, maybe not. And you can get the lighting. So you can actually purchase all the components and put it together. But then the question is if the factory has the ability to actually put together a real solid, reliable, consistent product. So when we're looking close at this, it looks like you can see a lot of it in the edge banding. So you see how all these little imperfections, that's something that with a high-level industrialized European factory, you're not gonna see because they have a more complete and perfected product line. And it's not just American manufacturing versus European manufacturing. A lot of times, it's the custom cabinet makers. We touched on it a little bit. So you can get a custom cabinet maker to do whatever you want, buy the components, put it together. But the question is if they have really the power, the industrial power to make sure that it's going to work. You see, this is a perfect example. Perfect piece of hardware with the glass, the metal, the lighting inside the cabinet, but it's not perfectly engineered. So you might be a manufacturer, custom cabinet maker that takes this piece of hardware, plugs it into a cabinet, but then what about all this? You know, it's rubbing against the door. It wasn't perfectly engineered, and this is something that would never happen in a real European factory. You see, you hear it rubbing, you know, so for whatever the reason is, people believe that cabinetry, the industrial power doesn't really make a difference. You can just buy components and put them together. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. You can actually see the seam, you know, between the front and that's just a matter of machinery and technology that a larger factory can take care of. And then even the way that there's a gap underneath, usually homeowners would not like it too much.
Well, I mean, depending where you are, especially in New York, you might have a whole bunch of critters that would love that gap.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really just engineering. It's some manufacturer that put it together. Why would you have this back, this in the drawer? But on the other hand, you also have some very nice accessories here, like this walnut, these walnut inserts. These probably do not have, just the slow shutting mechanism is either shot or it was never there. And sometimes, if you use the drawer for a long time, it just wears off. It loses its strength. must be an older display because a lot of it's just wearing out. Again, it's a matter of quality control, testing it, make sure that it's going to be there for a long time. But the kitchens are very nice. I like their kitchens. This is a very nice finish. I'm sure they do well with it. This oak frame. It's kind of what people would call transitional. Fluted glass and this metal frame. It's nice. The frame matches the handles. See what I mean? Like when the doors expand after a while, if they don't have a tolerance, I'm sure this could be easily solved with a little adjustment, but it just shows the expansion. So it's rubbing on the bottom, and it's also rubbing on between the doors. It's really not such a big deal. It could happen, but that's the point of how things. See these two. Slate look-alike cutting boards, I think. Oh, the galley, yeah, this is, you see this? The galley, this is a great company out of Chicago. It created like a cooking station. So you have everything you need, and everything just basically slides in and out, so you can easily use everything. It's a great sink with all the accessories. This is very cool because it's an inset door, but in a more modern, actually setting, transitional. So this would be like a shaker with a detail. It's very nice, but you know, again here you can see if you want that laser sharp precision, definitely don't do inset because inset will move. But if you like that kind of handmade look and not everything 100% perfect, which is fine too, kind of like country style, you would definitely get that. It's just that these are straight, the shaker style, so you see those little imperfections. But that's just what happens with inset doors. This is actually called beaded inset, where there's a bead here. This is very traditional American thing where the cabinets are painted, so you see these small imperfections. And when you get into the bespoke English furniture level, they always do the final coat in the home to hide all these imperfections. Just a detail. This is also in line with the bespoke English furniture style, the inset. But very nice cabinetry. You can see here the glass door, the inside is finished in walnut. Good. So again, a lot of it is the hardware, and a lot of people can say, okay, so I'll take whatever hardware and I'll just plug it into the cabinetry. But it doesn't really work this way. You need the power of the industrial manufacturer to engineer it and make sure that it's going to work and it's going to last for a long time. It's nice. I like this table.
That's gorgeous.
Mayan. Okay. All right. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you very much.